Alright, so it's a really great day here at the old Redneck Basement. We're going to be working on the Batmobile here and taking a look at the windshield, hoping to finally get in the header. This has been a bit of a pain. What we discovered last time was that the header, or that the top had sort of splayed apart a little bit, and that it was wider than it needed to be, which was causing the visor to spread out too far and not be able to go in easily. So we're going to put some ratchet straps on it. But as you can see, we've had the top, I painted the top here with help from Dad and from Mark. It looks pretty good. It's got a nice base coat of paint on it that will protect it for a good long while after we stripped it down well. And now we've got the visor here. It's got a nice coat of paint on it. The windshield we're not going to paint yet because it's got a lot of rust and stuff on it that we're going to need to do it a little more comprehensively. But then there's a metal header that goes on the top and the front. It looks real good. We did mess it up a little bit in painting, but it shouldn't be a problem. And then there's the wood header. This has been the real deal. We've had to trim it on the ends and edges and all, and try to get in a little bit. So hoping that pulling this stuff together with a ratchet strap will pulling the top together with a couple of ratchet straps will get us into a spot where everything trims in nicely and goes in. So we'll see how this looks here in a few minutes. Alright, so I just took out the garnish trim on the passenger door. Got a little bumper here, a bunch of different screws. The longer screw with the more pan head is the one that goes to hold the bumper, and the rest of them just hold the garnish trim. It is holding in the door seal. As you can see, it's just a rubber, sort of typical fabric covered rubber seal, and that piece goes right up in here, and this gives me exposure to these screws, which will loosen so that we can tighten these later on the door trim. But this is something that holds in this piece, so I wanted to show this particular relationship. It goes in ultimately like that, and that's the door seal. Alright, so we got the wood header in place, but now we got the straps in place. So we're going to put some bolts back into these holes from the back side here, in there loosely, and then we're trying to ratchet it down and see how close we can get this. You can sort of see here separation between the frame and the gutter, so hoping that we'll be able to get that tightened up. Alright, so we're here with Dad. Say hey, Dad.
Hey.
At the old Redneck Basement, we're getting the straps are in place. So what we've done here is we've got a strap underneath the metal on the wood frame to pull that piece of the frame in. We've got another strap on the outside of the metal to pull that frame together, and we've got a third strap on the windshield frame, and we've got a clamp on this side. Probably put one on that side too during the process, but that lets us get all the bolts in the frame up in there, those bolts into the header properly, so that we've got so we don't have to thread those during the process, and pulling it together helps those bolt holes line up. So I really think that once we get the whole thing clamped down, we'll be good. And actually, now that I'm realizing it, we probably do need to take this off the metal, because this metal is going to need to slide on this wood. So we'll go ahead and take that off, and because all that was doing was lining up the bolt hole for us. So we're good to go. We're going to start dry fitting the visor next. Yeah, if you would.
Well,
all right.
I hadn't checked the battery yet.
Leave it up then, it's all right. So here we are. We've got all the straps on it. Bolts are tight. I think we got the visor in the right spot. And now we're going to start nailing the visor into place. Working our way across, and so that we can take all these clamps and things off. So the reason we have all this in place is that we had to trim the ends of the header, the wood header underneath, to allow everything to fall into place, and cut up a little bit on the bottom up under here. Oh, they can't really see it there, but anyway, so so it allows the header to align back with the edge of the body frame. Alright, so we got the windshield is in, working mostly, It's got a long way to go still. We got hinges aren't quite up, the screws aren't a little too tight, but the window's in and it's operating. It's not pulling tight, but it's enough to drive around in, so we're going to try to take it for a little ride.